So, hello and another warm welcome to our Lead with Love Summit trainings. And today is day 4, and I'm going to take you through the best habits and practices of how to live from a place of love. And oh, so good to have you all here. Thank you for sharing where you're joining in from. And what I want to do today is kind of give you a behind the scenes look into my life, into what I like to do, into what matters to me on a practical daily basis, and share that with you today. And as I already said earlier, there's a great summit workshop tomorrow that I invite you to join me for particularly good for entrepreneurs or those that have creative projects that they want to bring to life. And today is, as usual, a training followed by meditation and all the rest of the good stuff that you're used to by now. So I have 8 golden rules that I'm going to share with you today of what I do in my life, and feel free to ask away in the comments and share what I do to live really from this place of love. And my first golden rule that I found really immensely helped me to get into the vibration of love was to come from a place of gratitude. Now, they have done actually scientific studies to show that gratitude rewires the brain to look for positive things. So I think there are studies that say if you look for 3 positive things every day, I think within the span of a month, you will have a rewired brain chemistry. And so what happens in our brains is that because we are trained for survival, our brains are trained to look for threats, and they're trained to look for danger. And so for us, of course, that means we always get into a state of alert. And the state of alert can be very painful because it means we're always looking for the negative, looking for what could go wrong, how can we protect ourselves. And not only is that an exhausting way to live, it's also not a way to live from love. So we have this amazing tool to fight back, if you like, against our inbuilt danger system. And that is to move back into the space of gratitude. And something as easy as really thinking of 3 things every day, 3 different things that you can be grateful for, rewires your brain. And I have done this as a consistent practice, and I can attest to this. It's quite fascinating. I'm by nature, I would say, a more anxious person. So for me, when I really focus on gratitude, that really lessens any feelings of anxiety. And I think whether or not you're anxious, it can just be the most wonderful thing because it reminds you of all the good in your life that you don't see if you're in the survival mode. That is kind of like our baseline mode. So gratitude as a daily practice is actually not difficult at all. In the beginning, I thought, oh, how am I going to find 3 new things a day to be grateful for? But the truth is, you can be grateful for a fantastic coffee you made. You can be grateful for the phone call of a friend. You can be grateful for the smile of a stranger on the street. You can be grateful for the sun shining. You can be grateful for seeing a butterfly. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be huge things like a job promotion or landing a new client if you're an entrepreneur or anything big. It can be in these little moments, and it just trains you to notice more and more of those moments. So as an exercise already to start juice up your brain in this direction, try and already find at least 1 thing that comes to your mind spontaneously right this minute that you can share in the chat. What are you grateful for today? So let's start the rewiring process right here together. And oh, you're grateful for your parents. That's lovely. Yes. Beautiful, exactly. You can be grateful for relationships, people, things, anything, your children. Wonderful, Laura. Yeah. So it's about giving yourself the opportunity to look for different things every day. So that's the key. Don't say the same things every day. Really train your brain to look for a different set of 3 things every day. And you will see that this will over time really change your life experience and your ability to lead from a place of love. Wonderful, brilliant space you have here in Paris. Also a roof over your head, running water. Yes, your sense of humor. A chai latte, exactly. It can be any of these things. Inga Marie, you just did your first online video about yoga. Excellent. Exactly. And also give gratitude to things you've achieved, that you've done. Give gratitude to yourself. Give gratitude to the color of your eyes, whatever it is. Give that gratitude. Yeah, or to making your bed. Exactly. That's the spirit. So get into that energy and that joy every single day. Now, the second thing, my second golden rule in terms of living from a place of love is today find an act of contribution. And contribution sounds like such a big word, like you have to do a huge thing or a huge humanitarian thing or gift a lot of money to a worthy cause or anything like that. But to me, contribution is like gratitude. It's in the small things. It's maybe letting somebody cut in line in front of you in the supermarket if you see they're in a hurry. It's helping somebody who's seemingly lost in your neighborhood and asking them if you can help. It's really seeing where is their need that is easy for you to fill. Where can you be of service? And be proactive about that service. So it's not about waiting until somebody asks you for help and then you helping, although of course that's wonderful and worthwhile too, but it's in the fine tuning of your environment and of the people in your community and in the world around you. Do you see anybody that you can help? And if it's easy for you to do, then just offer it, do it. And maybe your contribution can be to see somebody who looks lonely or sad, sitting opposite you in the bus or wherever, and just smiling at them. That can be a daily contribution. You've contributed love to the system. So I also call contribution pumping love into the system. So where can you pump love into the system? Who can you send SMS to and say, hey, thinking of you, just wanted to tell you I appreciate our friendship, or just doing things that you know are meaningful. And it can be somebody who's maybe in a more disadvantaged position than you, and you might want to gift them something or whatever it is. You get the point. And you will see that the more you get into the energy of helping and contributing to others, the more alive you feel. So rather than being a selfless act, it actually ends up being a joy-fulfilling act, because every time you give, you receive. There is no way. It's like a hug. You cannot give a hug without receiving a hug. Contribution acts are the same. You cannot cheer somebody up without cheering yourself up, or making somebody's day without making your own day. And of course, you don't do it just because the end net benefit is that it helps you, but it's really that everybody wins, right? Everybody wins. With your act of contribution, everybody wins. And that's why when people say, oh, but doesn't it exhaust you to think of helping people every day? I'm tired, I'm too sensitive, I'm too exhausted. I would say to that, then it's not an act of contribution. Then it's something you forced yourself to do and not something that flowed easily for you. Now, I want you to look for things that flow easily, that you can give without resentment, that you can give with joy, that you can give because it's easy and it's simple for you to do. So nobody's asking you to break your back or to help other people more than you help yourself, or to overextend yourself when you are already overextended. On the contrary, it's actually just doing these small little things that don't cost you anything most of the time, that don't cost you a lot of time or energy, but they're just little things. And these little things uplift you too. That's the magic of it. So it's not like you give and then you're empty. It's really cyclical. So contribution has this cyclical energy to it. So that's my second golden rule of living from a place of love. Now, my third rule might seem surprising in this lineup, but it is actually forgiveness. So often we don't even notice how heavy a burden we carry when we need to forgive somebody and we've decided we can't, or we don't want to, or maybe the forgiveness is also toward ourselves, like we cannot forgive ourselves for something we've done or not done. And this is a huge burden energetically to carry. And forgiveness is a really good practice, like to force ourselves with love to remind ourselves, where can I let go a bit today? Where can I forgive? Where can I lean into love? Where can I ease up some stress? Where can I loosen the reins of pressure? And when you decide to let certain things go, even if they've annoyed you or something, and it's not even about communicating it to whoever annoyed you or whoever you're in a clinch with, it is really more for yourself, to give yourself that gift of inner freedom, to not occupy your heart with anger or with resentment or with hatred. It's really a too heavy burden to bear. And forgiveness doesn't, as I said, doesn't have anything to do really with the other person. And it doesn't even have to be communicated to that person. But it's an act that you give to yourself. And some things are very hard to forgive. And I'm not diminishing that at all. But it's something that you can chip away at daily, like an ice block. You just chip away a little bit every day. And you will see that over time, your resentment will have melted away. And that is the goal. And again, you do this for you. You don't do this because you let the other person off the hook or you make it okay, whatever they did. You're not. You're just making it okay for yourself to not kind of bear the heaviness of this any longer. Asal, yes, it really does work. Absolutely. And it's a commitment. So it's not something that is an easy thing to do or is easy to commit to. Gratitude is much easier to commit to because it feels more joyful. But forgiveness over time will feel even more fulfilling on a deeper level than gratitude, because you're releasing a lot of dense energy and you're releasing a lot of heaviness. So really dive deep into that. And there's a beautiful Hawaiian forgiveness ritual, and I will butcher the name because for the life of me, I never know how to say this. And if you've been with me for a while, you will know I don't know how to say this. It's the Oponopono. So try and Google that, or if you can, put it in the chat if you're more literate at this than I am. But it's a beautiful way of releasing anger, resentment, and leaning into the energy of forgiveness. So look at that. If that's something you might want to kind of ritual around and support with, this is the most beautiful one. Yes, Asal, here you go. Asal shared it for all of us in the chat. So Google that. There are beautiful videos on how to practice that, how to do that. I can attest myself, this really absolutely works. Go give yourself that opportunity to try it out for yourself. Now, my golden rule number 4 is to pay it forward. Now, this terminology I did get from that movie at the time. I don't know how many of you saw that movie. It's a long time ago. Who here saw that movie, Pay It Forward? I'm sure quite a few of you did. Yeah, I see a few raised hands here. So the idea behind that, I find a really beautiful idea, because it means you trust life so much that you're willing to extend any gift you've received to the next person, and to trust that it's the right thing to do. The cycle of giving doesn't ever have to stop with you. If you receive, you give. And what I find fascinating is that you actually relieve yourself from just keeping it in this tight circle of giving back to the person who was the initiator of giving you something, but to actually choose a different person to give it to. So that doesn't mean you cannot also, of course, show appreciation and giving energetically in terms of gratitude back to whoever helped you, but to look for who else can you help? Who can you give a leg up to? So say somebody helped you in your career, somebody gave you a promotion, somebody helped you land your first client, somebody, whatever. And then you help somebody else do the same or do something different. And it's in the spirit of everybody wins when everybody wins. And so you don't just go back to the initial person and try to make right by them. And you can anyway do that in different ways, but to constantly keep your eye out on where could I pay something forward? Where could I pay an opportunity forward? Where could I pay help forward, support forward, wisdom forward? And you will always know, because I think destiny arranges things in such a way that the right people come into our lives at the right time, and you will be the gift bringer for that person. And you might not know it, and they might not know it, but once they will share something, maybe some distress, a story, a problem, you will know exactly why you met them. And that synergy of your two energies will produce a wonderful result, because you'll be able to give them something that they needed. Maybe they didn't even know they needed it, and you can give them that word of advice that changes everything for them, or introduce them to a person that revolutionizes their life, or gives them an opportunity that they've been burning for. And trust that the right people are going to be pulled into your circle, and whatever you have to pay forward will be a perfect match for what they need. And then you trust that they likewise will have their circle of people. And so on and on it goes. And that's how we create a world of love. And so for me, this is a beautiful way to live, and something just to bear in mind and keep top of mind. How can you pay the gifts you've received forward? Now, another rule for me that has served me well in my life is to seek help. And it's not easy to seek help, because help implies that we have a vulnerability somewhere. Now, we recognize we cannot do something in the way maybe we would like to do. And to give ourselves permission that is okay. We don't have to go on every journey by ourselves. We don't have to go slay our dragons on every hero's journey. We can ask for help. So throughout my life, I had different people help me in different ways. And mentors are so important. Find your mentors. You deserve to have a mentor. You deserve to have a coach. You deserve to have a therapist if that's what you need right now. You deserve to have a dedicated health practitioner. Wherever you're struggling right now, be that in business, in life, in health, in love, wherever, there's somebody who will know how to fix it. I can guarantee you, whatever your problem is, there's somebody who has the answer to that. But first, to receive that help and that answer, you must get into a place of readiness to actively and willingly seek help. And I've done this throughout my life, is to constantly seek help when I recognize I need help in a specific area, to look for it and love myself enough to say, I deserve help. I deserve support. So wherever maybe in your life right now, or you feel, well, this area is a bit tough for me, give yourself that permission to seek help, and then see how quickly a mountain dissolves into a molehill with the right guide holding your hand. And let me know in the comments if you've ever had a mentor, a coach, a doctor, or somebody who changed your life. I'm sure you have. I certainly have. And let me know in the comments if that's been something that you've experienced too. But I feel that probably all of us have had these guiding lights in our life that were just what we needed to get us unstuck. Yes, absolutely. So important to be a mentor and a mentee. Yes, been transformed because I sought help. Absolutely, bingo, Asa, yes. And you deserve that, because when we realize that other people already know what we don't know, we don't have to struggle. Like literally, we can make it easy for ourselves and have that be okay. Yes. Asal, yes. Asal, thank you. Yes, Asal is one of my beautiful coaching clients and been faithful to me for years. Thank you, my dear Asal. I'm very honored to be your coach in this life. You see Colette as well. Jane, mentor and teacher, was a life changer. Absolutely. Yeah. So you see, it can be so beautiful to ask for help. It can be absolutely life-changing. Now, my golden rule number 6 is vulnerability. Vulnerability is actually tied to asking for help, but it's bigger than that. To really lead from a place of love means we have to lead with our true selves. And to lead with our true selves, we have to be willing to show our true selves and have that be okay, that maybe other people are not going to resonate, or other people might criticize or call you crazy or not resonate. And that can be a scary proposition. But vulnerability is our only way to make a difference in this world, and our only way to show up with all of our gifts is to be okay, show our open hearts, and allow ourselves to be seen, and allow ourselves also to recognize that we aren't for everyone and we can't be, and that's okay. And that is something I had to learn too, because I thought vulnerability was a very scary thing. I thought, oh, vulnerability doesn't really feel good at first, because you feel so exposed when you share your truth with people. And it doesn't just have to be kind of in a business sense or in a public sense. It can also be in personal relationships, to share what you really need, to share your desires, to share your wishes, to share your hurt and your pain or your traumas and your past. That's intensely vulnerable. But that is what allows for true connection. That is what allows for people to open their hearts. So there is no easier way to have people open their hearts to you when you go first and you open yours, and they can feel you. They can sense your honesty. They can sense your authenticity. They can sense your beating heart. This will open their heart, and literally you create a heart-to-heart resonance when you do that, because vulnerability is a state of openness. And that can create the most beautiful connections. And at the end of the day, that's what we all are here for. We all are here to be seen, to be loved, to be together, to recognize each other, to recognize our gifts. And this is just the most perfect thing we can allow ourselves. So whenever you have a tendency to want to pull back because it feels scary to do so, or you don't want to tell that person how you feel, or you're scared of doing your first public Facebook Live or webinar or whatever it is, and you're scared, what will people think? What will they say? How will I be judged? Just know it's absolutely okay. You will survive, because the reason you will is because whoever you will get as a naysayer or as a pushback, or people who might not appreciate your vulnerability, you will have gained so many more who open their hearts back to you, who resonate with you, who root for you, who are on your side, who are on your team. And so this is really where the magic happens. So allow yourself every day a moment of vulnerability. And you don't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay if you don't know how to do something, or don't know how to say something, or mess up somewhere. Actually, people don't love perfection. And this is something I've learned in my years as an entrepreneur. I thought in the beginning, people and my clients, they will only be happy if I'm 100% perfect at all times. And I was wrong. My clients love me because I'm real and I'm human, like all of us. And I can talk about being human, and I can own my mistakes. And if I have a typo in a presentation, I will leave it there. And that's okay. It doesn't distract anyone. And people know that I probably know how to write that word. So it's okay, you know? So it's about also cutting yourself some slack and realizing that when you show up as a human being, you allow other people to relax too, and also be human beings back with you, and know that we're all in this together. So this is for me where so much good stuff happens in the vulnerability zone. Let me just check in with the comments. Elaine, getting help can be difficult if you don't have much money. Elaine, I would say that is not true. And I will tell you why that's not true. The reason that's not true, Elaine, is because help doesn't have to do with people who have money. You can have mentors that help you for free. You can have mentors on YouTube that you have never met. They can be amazing mentors for you. And I would say, you know, maybe somebody like an Eckhart Tolle is a mentor of mine. He doesn't have a clue who I am, but he's helped me in my life, for example. So mentors and getting help is not necessarily saying I'm going to pay a coach or I'm going to pay whoever. In the world we live in today, Elaine, and I think this is a wonderful possibility to shift energies around that, is to see that you can get almost anything you need on the internet today. Any form of advice, community, say you have a health issue. Maybe you would love support. Okay, Elaine, fantastic. So therapy, great example. Okay, say you're wanting some kind of support. So maybe right now, you know, affording a therapist is not possible, but something else will be possible, and that's where you just push further. Maybe you can join a community of people who maybe have the same concern or pain point as you do, and the love and support of that community will uplift you and will make you feel understood and held, and you can maybe read books about whatever is ailing you, and you can listen to mentors for free. Even many psychologists do wonderful YouTube channels where you can learn for free, and you can then also maybe just talk with friends about what you learn and interact. So what I'm getting at is that it doesn't mean, of course, that everything we want we can necessarily pay, but if we take responsibility for our well-being, we can find resources to support that. And I think that's just such a wonderful thing we have. And Elaine, you do support all that. You do deserve so much help and support, and you can give that to yourself. So try and find any way you can to give yourself that support until such a time that you are able to take it to the next level. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go to my next golden rule. And that, right after vulnerability, and that is on purpose, is boundaries. So vulnerability with boundaries is dangerous and not something I would recommend at all, because only an open heart with no filter and no boundaries very quickly will mean a broken heart. So we need boundaries, and boundaries for me, they help people deal with you in a way that you set out that is safe and good feeling to you. And we all deserve our boundaries. And sometimes, especially as sensitive people, we're very outward focused, and we're focused on what other people want, what other people need. So for us sometimes to figure out our own boundaries is not the most easy thing. But I always think that the great way to figure out where your boundaries are is to look, where do you have resentments? What are you resenting? Is it maybe that person that calls you every day and wants something from you? Is it an obligation that you feel you can't get out of but really doesn't feel good anymore? Whatever it is. Look for your resentments, and every time a resentment pops up, you think, ooh, maybe this is a place where I could put a boundary, because the boundary is there not to shut your heart down, but to protect you in a healthy way. So a boundary for me is more like a mosquito net, right? It's penetrable. The right things can go through, like the air can pass through, the oxygen can pass through, but the mosquito can't. And that's the point of a boundary for me. It's not to shut any and all things out. It's to shut the things that are not good for you out. So think about, where do you need mosquito nets, and look at your relationships. Look at if you have a business, your clients, your workload, people that work for you, where do you need boundaries? And for example, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to do a fantastic job, be there for your clients, and you might have a client who doesn't really understand your boundaries, and they might expect an instant answer on a Sunday morning from you within 1 hour. Well, I would say that's probably not reasonable, and I would say this is a good place to put a boundary in place and say, I'm available Monday to Friday from such and such hour to such and such hour, and I will not answer outside of these times. Easy enough for you, sets the expectation for the client. They'll know, oh, okay, so I don't get to expect that, that's okay. And when you communicate that, everybody wins, because people don't purposely crash your unsaid boundaries, as they are maybe just not aware of them. So it's your job to know your boundaries and to share your boundaries so that everybody can win. And the more you get into the habit of sharing your boundaries, of what's okay for you, what's not okay for you, then other people can integrate that into their system with you. And then typically you can avoid a lot of problems of built up hidden resentments further down the road. So look, maybe right now, think of 1 or 2 things where you really have that niggling feeling of something's annoying me there, and see what is it that could be corrected by a boundary. Assert the boundary, put it there, and this will allow you to thrive so much more. And my last golden rule for today is to honor your inner child. So honoring your inner child is something that I've only really fairly recently understood how to do well, and it's so important. So we all are, as adults, I would say most of us don't have a very deep relationship with our inner child. And it's because when we move into an adult state, we are overwhelmed with things to do and responsibilities, and doing the mature thing and doing the right thing and doing the reliable thing and being responsible, that our inner child that has stayed with us since childhood kind of is a bit malnourished on the inside, because our young self still exists inside of us. It's still there. And when we don't nurture it, when we are not there for it, when we don't kind of give ourselves the possibility to play, to enjoy, to have fun, to nurture maybe not the fun sides, but the hurting sides, maybe the traumas of childhood, maybe the pain of abandonment, or the pain of not feeling loved, or any of these things. Our inner child holds all of our childhood joys and all of our childhood wounds. And we walk around with them every day, day in and day out. And when we start to build that connection again with that hidden part of ourselves, and really try and see if we can build up a dialogue with the child we once were, that is still here inside of us somewhere, managing the joys and the pains of a time long gone, then we can really feel how much wisdom also our inner child has for us, and how much love and self-love we can cultivate if we nurture that inner child part of us, and if we heal that relationship, and if we can parent our inner child maybe in ways our parents couldn't do for us. And I'm sure everybody has childhood wounds in their own unique way. I don't think it's possible as human beings to grow up and have a scar-free childhood. I think that's impossible, because that would mean you had perfect parents, and there are no such things as perfect parents or perfect human beings. So you will have your unique set of scars, and your job as an adult is to still nurture these scars and to take care of these scars and to heal these scars. And you can do that by reparenting the parts of you that got hurt a long time ago, but that might still rule a lot of your behaviors of today, especially any kind of attachment traumas. It has a lot to do with your inner child, and attachment traumas play out in your current relationships, in how you see yourself, in your self-love capacity, and how you interact with other people. So this building of this relationship with the inner child is deeply important and deeply healing, and it gives you so much insight into yourself and why you do what you do. It gives you freedom, gives you relief, it gives you joy. So this is something that I think belongs on every love leader's journey, is to get back in touch with that inner child. And this is something I want to do with you today. Is I want to do an inner child meditation to help you get back in touch with that little boy or little girl that lives within. So let me know in the chat if you're ready for that inner child meditation. Ready? Fantastic. You're excited. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, my dears, we shall travel back in time together. Wonderful. I can't wait to take you there. And before I do, I wanted to share this quote, which I found very touching and very true, by Miguel Angel Ruiz. And he says, "The real you is still a little child who never grew up. Sometimes that little child comes out when you're having fun or playing, when you feel happy, when you're painting or writing poetry or playing the piano or expressing yourself in some way. These are the happiest moments of your life, when the real you comes out, when you don't care about the past and you don't worry about the future. You are childlike." Isn't that beautiful? So I want to bring you back to that childlike energy now. So with your permission, it's time to meditate. And over on Facebook, I'll catch up with all of your comments there in a little while as well. We can do this together. Asa, what a golden presentation. Oh, you're so welcome. Jane, so beautiful. I have goosebumps. Yes, wonderful. Okay, let's get some more goosebumps going with this meditation. So first and foremost, I invite you all now to just close your eyes. Just close your eyes, sink deep in your body, relax your shoulders, allow your body to relax. Allow any thoughts that are in your mind swirling about to calm down. And I want you to take a very deep, long inhale and exhale. And another deep inhale and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And continue breathing in a natural but calm and deep way. And just find your natural breathing rhythm that feels good to you. And now I invite you to put your hand over your heart and build a connection between your hand and your heart. Really feel that beautiful energy of your heart. Give gratitude for your heart. Feel the beating of your heart underneath your hands. And know that your heart is just dedicated to keeping you alive. And give gratitude for the job that your heart does 24 hours a day to be in service to you. Remind yourself that not only your heart loves you, but every cell in your body loves you and wants you to be alive and well. Every single cell is just there to keep you alive and to keep you well. So you are so loved by your body. Just feel that appreciation. And now I want you to move your mind to find a very happy memory from your childhood, a treasured moment in time. And whatever image comes to you first, hang on to that image. It will be the right one for this meditation. Whatever image you have, really soak up that memory. What were you wearing? What were you doing? What was your haircut like? What did your face look like? What shoes were you wearing? Just really picture yourself. Try and get a really crisp picture of what you look like in that happy moment. What did the little you look like? And see if you can really make that picture come alive in your mind. Make the little you come and spring to life. So I want you to park that little boy or girl in one corner of your mind, and we'll get back to them right away. But for now, I want you to visualize a bright field of sunflowers, of beautiful, tall, yellow sunflowers. And now you slowly and gently lift your little you in the middle of this sunflower field. And you're wearing that dress that you have in your mind, the shoes, your hairdo. You can really feel yourself being in that childlike energy. And you're in this beautiful, expansive field of sunflowers. And you're running around amongst the sunflowers. You're playing, you're happy, you're soaking up the sun, you're joyful, and you're having such a good time being back in that childhood life, in that childhood body, and really soaking up this sunflower energy around you, this brightness. And now you see that the adult you is slowly joining the little you in the sunflower field. And the little you hasn't seen you yet. You're just walking up slowly to the little you. And then the little you turns around and sees you as the adult you and runs to you with joy, like only kids run to their parents with great ecstasy and joy when they see them and they've missed them. So you see your little you running to you, and your adult you pick up your little self and you give yourself a big, long hug. So you feel what it would feel like you as an adult to hug the kid that you were. And you feel in that hug, when you hug your little you, all the love and care and protection you have for that little you. How precious you were. How delicate. How lovable. How cute and sweet you were. And you let that love flow between the two of you. And you're holding that little you in your arms. And you feel so much love for that little you from your adult self, like a parent has for their child. And now you ask the little you to whisper in your ear what it would love to get from the adult you. Maybe it wants more fun, more attention, more love, more healing, more play. Whatever it is, it can be absolutely any message at all. Let you be quiet for a minute as you communicate with the little you. Let that little you whisper in your ear and tell you what it would need from the adult you. And now that you've heard this message, make a promise to your little you that you will commit to doing this. And for your adult self, set the intention to keep this promise. And now, I want you to ask the little you, what does she love about the adult you? What does your little you love about the adult you? And I'm sure you're smiling about whatever that is, what the little you loves about the adult you. And now I want you to reverse that question and ask the adult you, what do you love the most about the little you? So the adult you, the you of today, what do you love most about that inner child you, that little you? And tell that to your little you. Now I want you to soak up these feelings of mutual love, of togetherness, of unity. Really feel how much joy you have together when you are one, how powerful you are together, and that you are never alone when you have each other. And really relish in that moment of mutual love. And now I want you to set the little one back down and you release the little you back to play. And you choose just to lay down as the adult you in this field of sunflowers. And you just soak up this radiating yellow healing energy of joy and happiness that these sunflowers and the sun exude. And you allow your whole being to be recharged with the energy of joy, childlike happiness, and enthusiasm for life. This yellow energy, you feel it coursing through your body, you feel it illuminating you, you feel it brightening you, and you just feel so grateful and happy. And now I want you to slowly bring back your awareness to the now. Give gratitude and say goodbye for now to the little you in the sunflower field. Tell him or her you will be back soon. And come back now to the present moment with a big smile on your face. And welcome back, my dears. Let me know how that felt for you, what you've experienced. I hope that was a beautiful moment of reconnection for you. And know that at any time you can revisit your little you. It's part of you So you can go back there at any time. Kelly, that was exquisite. Jane, so beautiful feeling, had tears all over my face. Oh, that's lovely. You love that little you was so brave and strong, so it was a nice reminder to continue to be that way. That's fantastic. Elaine, my favorite so far, so much healing there. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Inner child and I share the same beautiful essence. Yes. Nina, you cried. Wow. Angie, wow, that was powerful. Love that. I had tears. Asa, you were immediately in tears. So nice. But I had missed all these times. Oh, wow. Yes. Hawa, also you felt tears. Yes. You know, I'm not surprised, and I'm very moved that you all felt this overwhelming sense of love and tears that came through. And these tears are because our little you has been so quickly forgotten in how we live our lives. And when we reconnect to ourselves, we feel there's so much untapped love. And these tears are just so wonderful to remind us how much love there is that we can give to our inner child, and how we can reparent our inner child in this way, and to reconnect to that. Ina, it gave you a headache in the beginning. Yes, that can be, because it's very intense to go back and resurrect that part of yourself. It's energetically, especially if it's not something you do very often, to connect to your inner self can be quite energetically moving and challenging. And as the energies move in you, it can maybe give a heartache, or it can release tears or headache. So to get a physical response in the form of some ache, pain, or tears is normal, because you're moving a very profound energy when you go into the inner child part of you. So this is something that, if you can, give yourself that gift often, and realize how beautiful it can be to just hang out with yourself, hang out with the little you, and also listen to the wisdom of your little you, and give that part of you the nurturing, loving protection maybe that you didn't receive when you grew up, and that you can give yourself now. So I'm so glad that this really resonated for all of you today. And of course, in line with that, my affirmation is, my inner child is loved and safe. So this is an affirmation to really consciously tell your inner child that you're there and that it's safe with you. This is an affirmation maybe you can repeat for yourself sometimes, and just keep that energy alive within you. Jane, I guess I will buy a large picture with sunflowers and put my childhood picture in the middle of it. Oh, that's a beautiful idea. I love that, Jane. Yes, do that. That's great. And of course, I will pull an oracle card now for all of us to see if we get some message that is connected with what we've just experienced here together today. Oh, wow. This is the second time. I've already pulled this one at the beginning of the week for us. It's the initiation. It's the rite of passage card. I'm going to show it again in a little while, but it's crossing the threshold. And I think this is, again, this, you know, we have these dark clouds here and we're moving into the light. And that's also what we did with this meditation, is we're moving back to reconnect to our inner light. We're crossing that threshold and that distance we had maybe between our inner child and our adult selves. So this is a beautiful thing for us to experience together. And my action invitation for all of us is to honor our inner child. And I want you to post a picture of yourself as a beautiful child that you were and that is still inside of you in the Facebook group, to really honor that sweetness of your being. And maybe if you feel like it, write something nice to your little you when you post this. So then we can all appreciate the little children that live inside our hearts at all times, and give ourselves that loving and nurturing space. And with that, I'm going to now get back on camera for all of you and take any questions that you might have. So here I am. Hello, my dears. And I will just have a quick look on Facebook as well to see if I can maybe catch myself there. It's always not so easy to try and do that in parallel, but let's see if we manage, if I can manage. Yes, I can. Here we are. Okay. So, oh, beautiful hearts and love here. Oh, I love you all so much. Excellent. Wonderful. So Facebook, I'm with you now as well. So I have you here. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. I can see you now. Oracle cards have all been perfect. Second time around with this one is utterly apropos. So true, isn't it? Isn't it funny how cards know just to tap into that same energy over and over again, and you just always pick up the right energy at the right time. Nina, how do we take care of our inner child in our career or work? This is about staying in touch with yourself and actually knowing that whether you are at work or in your business, that inner part of you still needs your nurture and your care. And if you're scared, for example, about your boss or something happening that you can't control, is to really make a conscious effort to speak to that inner child and say, I got this, I can take care of us, I can protect us from this, I'm strong now, I'm big now, I know what to do. And even if you don't know what to do, you can even share that with your inner child and say, you know what, inner child, I don't know what to do here. I'm maybe the adult around here, but I feel lost. And maybe also sometimes ask your inner child for advice. You'd be surprised how wise your inner child is. Like if you go into a meditation like this, you can also go with the intent to ask your inner child a question about a decision you need to make or what you can do in life or at work. And you will see, you will get a very profound answer sometimes also from your inner child. So I hope that helped, Nina. Jane, do you know where I can seek help if your throat chakra is blocked due to childhood trauma? It is getting better now with self-love and a speaking coach, but maybe you have another advice. Yes, Jane, maybe I would say to work with somebody who's trained in somatic therapy, somatic trauma therapy, so that really help you process any trauma that is stuck in the body through the body instead of through the mind. So especially like trauma therapy, somatic trauma therapy, look at the work of Peter Levine, and there are many practitioners. They're called somatic experiencing practitioners, therapists, and they help you release trapped trauma from the body. I think this might be just the thing for you. So give that a try, perhaps. Bronwyn, do you have any mentors online you found that help with inner child work? Well, I sometimes work with my clients on inner child things. So I don't really have anyone in particular that springs to mind there. But what I would say is that you are the best authority on your own inner child, because your inner child is you. And so to bring that out safely is something that you can just commit to doing. And it's like building any relationship that you've left behind maybe a long time ago. It needs time, nurture, care, patience, but it will get there. It will rebuild itself. And a nice way to work on this, and that sometimes I suggest my clients to do that, is to take that picture of your inner child and sit with that picture and ask your inner child to share any and all things it's been feeling all these years. And it might even be mad at you because you haven't paid any attention to it. And maybe that needs to happen first, that you give your inner child that permission to be mad at the adult self for not being present. And then you can rebuild that connection of trust over time again. So know that outside resources can definitely help, but you have all the tools you need to do this work. Elaine, yes, that was Peter Levine, Jane, yes. And Elaine, you also just posted someone, holistic psychologist, wonderful. Don't know that person, but that's great resource for sure to check out. Thank you for that. Okay, my dears, any other questions on today's, and this has been our last training day, can you believe it? Tomorrow we have our big workshop, and I hope many of you will be able to join me, specifically if you are an entrepreneur, plan on being an entrepreneur, or you have some kind of creative or visionary project that you want to bring forth. You're so welcome. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Wonderful. I'll see here on Facebook if I have any other questions. You know, if you're working on being an entrepreneur, this is already the session for you. It's for entrepreneurs or those that want to be a business owner, even if it's not something you want to do right away, if that's something you feel could be in your future. It's always a great way to start putting your feelers out in that direction and seeing maybe what comes of it. Wonderful. I look forward to it. Yay! You're gonna miss this. What an amazing week. Oh, thank you. That was such a fulfilling week. Still taking it all in. No questions left at this time. You've been thorough and so looking forward to tomorrow. Yay. Wonderful. Yes, you have a visionary project. Excellent. So I'll see you tomorrow as well. That's wonderful. And yes, we still have another day of amazing speakers as well. So also be sure to check out today's great speakers, Shazi, Alejandro, and Charles, who share more about how we can live from love in our daily lives. And tomorrow is a day all about business, visionary projects, our mission work. So today is whether you have a career or you're an entrepreneur, today is about work and how we can bring love into the business world and the corporate world. So I'm sure you will have another great day tomorrow as well. Yay, wonderful. You've loved this week. Such a wonderful week. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to spread love and light you up with love. And if I could do that, then I couldn't be happier. So thank you all so much. I send you lots of love and take care, everyone. Bye. See you tomorrow.